Y'all know what a sensitive briar is? Some of you will when I show you. It's about done, so it's hard to find it, but it puts on a little purple flower. It's a variety of mimosa. Um, but you touch the leaves. I remember as a kid, you touch the leaves and they'll close up, and it's pretty neat. But I was thinking a lot about that plant and weeds, actually, and this is something I learned. Of course, everything has a purpose in God's creation. I'm convinced of that. Even the weeds bloom where you planted. For instance, this little sensitive briar, it grows. Well, there's a piece of it there. I don't know if you can tell, but those little leaves have closed up already. But it actually affixes nitrogen back in the soil. A lot of plants do that we call weeds. For instance, an old dandelion, where you see it growing, it's usually an indicator that the soil is a little bit impacted and maybe even low in nitrogen. So as that dandelion grows, puts down that big taproot, it kind of aerates the soil a little bit. And then as it decomposes, it affixes the much needed nitrogen that the other plants need back into the soil. Yeah, it's just a little bit off of one plant, but every little bit helps, don't it? If nothing else, it's an indicator of maybe what you need to amend the soil with. But blooming where you're planted, I see things sometimes in the most simplistic of stuff. I was at a softball game here a few weeks ago. It's a playoff here, local, a couple little schools, and something hit me. Not a ball, but that's kind of the point. As I was watching them play, and y'all have seen it at sports events and things of that nature, where every time a play is done by a team, the fans of that team go wild. Home run, whatever it might be, good play. But when a player gets injured, maybe it's a wild pitch that hits them on the shoulder, God forbid the face, or maybe it's just on their wrist, kind of knocks them down for a second, and they take a base. It gets mighty quiet in those stands as both sides watch to see if that person's going to be okay. And when they give that thumbs up, everybody goes wild. Both sides, whether they're a fan or an opponent, they're happy to see that recovery and that person is going to be all right. And that's what I mean about being where you're planted, blooming there. Sometimes we can be a silent witness just with our life. All of us have a lot of struggles that hit us, and some of them are more severe than others, but we've got folks watching us. Yeah, our fans cheer us on, win or lose, but maybe it's that coworker or that person you see from time to time that found out that you've got hope in the midst of cancer or a broken home or loss of a job or just a bad day. They still see the joy in your face, right? Kind of encourages them to keep plugging along. It's hard to do that without faith in God sometimes, I think, but that's our own free choice. He gave it to us. You know, he's so much in control that he doesn't mind us making our own choices, because his will prevail in the end. You know, he sent his son to die for us. Beautiful thing, that sacrifice. We've had a few different situations over the last actually couple of weeks. Of course, they're all the time in life where some specific praying was needed for some needs, from animals to family. And both situations worked out just as beautiful as they could. But I was talking to my sister, and I said, you know, we all prayed that this would be all right, but I'm afraid we didn't pray as much as we worried about it. Sure, it's a good thing we worried enough for God to fix it. Why do we do that? Sit around and worry and worry and worry when we're saying we trust him to get it done. I guess that's the way it goes with fear and anxiety. Old boy walking down a country road way back in the day before they had street lights, and all they had was a little lantern. He's strolling along at night, and a little old candle, or his lantern, went out. He didn't know the area. He was trying to make it home. And he's trying to head toward the nearest farmhouse he could see up ahead, that old pitch black night. Stumbled, fell, broke the lantern, and fell over a cliff. So he was sliding a little bit there. He grabbed onto a branch and held on for his life. He just knew the end of his days was upon him. Well, he sat there and he cried for help. And of course, nobody around to hear him. He cried and cried and cried, holding on to that branch. His arm started to weaken, He knew it was the end. Finally, he couldn't hold on anymore. All that fear and anxiety and loss of strength had overtaken him. He let go of that branch and fell 6 inches to the bottom of a ditch that he didn't know was a ditch. Isn't that us so many times? Worried about the big booger bear in the woods when ain't nothing out there but a little armadillo. Oh, goodness. Well, it's hot. It ain't even summer yet. I'll show you all these tomatoes real quick.